Hiya and welcome everybody. Today I'm going to take part in the 2022 Bart's Bash. So what's the 2022 Bart's Bash? Well, that's easy. Bart's Bash is basically a fundraising event. It takes place all over the world and all the results get thrown in at the end of the day. It's a fun race really, just to raise money. To raise money for people who would like to have a go at sailing, who might not be able to in any other way. The gold medalist, Andrew Simpson, aka Bart, believed everybody should have a go at sailing and reap the benefits that it brings, and hence the foundation was started and has run since. Well, you don't need to be a sailor or anything special in order to raise money. In fact, you can just donate it if you want to. You could find Bart's Bash easily online. Anyway, do I stand any chances today of getting anywhere? Well, I'm a little bit hopeful that I'll come in somewhere around the back of the pack. Where I will do, I'm quite sure. I'll get my sails up and I'll give it a go. But racing at the moment's just for fun. For some funny reason, I'm the only motorsailer who seems to take part in racing. The closest thing to me is a westerly that Bob sails called Mayor, and that's basically an ordinary sailing boat with a Dodger stuck on it, but he's my sort of competition, I think. As you can see, the conditions at the moment, there's not much wind at all. The sea state's a bit bumpy, but that's because yesterday it blew a little bit, and because there's not a lot of wind now, this sort of wave has to dissipate over the next few hours, hopefully, because this is last night's water, or last night's windy water. Well, let's have a look at today's course. The wind's supposed to come from here, which is a north-northeast, and we're supposed to start at these two buoys here, so that's our gateway to start, and then it's all the way up here to this fish farm, around the fish farm, and back to the two buoys to finish. Bit of a reach both ways, slightly different, one a little bit with the wind, one slightly into the wind, but should be quite an easy sail, I think. Well, due to the light airs, most boats have motored out. There's a couple of one or two who had a sail out, and most of them's motor sailed out, but now that we're out here, we're getting down to just having a little bit of sailing and feeling what wind there actually is. Well, there's really light airs. It's in between 6 and 10 knots at different stages, and a little bit worse than that, the north-northeast is turning out to be more like an east-northeast, which will mean setting off from the buoys to the fish farm will probably be more like a run, and coming back will be, well, it'll be definitely tacking for me. Some of the other boats may be able to do it if they can sail really close to the wind. Right, the race is going to be run as a pursuit race, so that means the slowest boat will start first, followed by the next slowest, and so on until the fastest one's gone, and then we all theoretically should go across the finish line at exactly the same time. Theoretically. I have no idea, no understanding of how they work the times out. It's supposed to be about a 2-hour race, and I think the advantage I've got from the couple of minutes I get ahead of start is very small, and holding on to it's very difficult. But we've got to give it a go and see where we get to anyway. So if I come in last, I'm happy because I've come in the position that I'm supposed to come in, so I've got no worries. Let's just have some fun and do what we're doing. It's 10:23, 5 minutes before we start the race, and we're having a minute's radio silence. We've dipped our ensigns as well, all in honour of the passing of our Queen. It's now 10:28 and it's time to go, and this is Brian on Island Runner. I thought I had a good start, but he's flying past me on the inside and he's setting off with me. But I'm sure the water's not supposed to be pumping out of his engine like that when he's taken off at the start. But he's new to racing and it's only a friendly race, so let's leave it at that. I'm catching him up now anyway that he's turned his engine off, and that's good enough for me. Well, we're 10 minutes in already and I can see no dramas is creeping up on the outside there. He'll soon have me. Most of the others have got off the mark and there's a couple to go. And I'm just in front of Island Runner, which has made me really pleased because we're supposed to be the two slow boats. My statistics are just managing about 3.5 knots over the ground, and we got about 8 knots of apparent wind. Well, Arthur, in no dramas there, he's got his cruise and shoot up, and he's catching me quickly. My 4 minutes are going to go in the bin quite fast. But I'm just about managing to stay ahead of Brian there on Island Runner, and everybody else is off the mark and all heading this way. So I don't think it'll be too long before they pass me one by one. Serious race face? Only joking. It's a little bit of a broad reach at the moment, and I think Swallow's not doing too badly. She seems to like this point of sale, and I'm just about fighting a little bit with no dramas, although I'm quite sure Arthur's got a trick up his sleeve and he'll be past me pretty soon. I've had a little tweak with my sails, and I think this is the most I can get out of Swallow at this moment in time, so I'm quite happy with it. Oh, and I still haven't cleaned my log, so I don't really know how fast I'm going through the water. I think Brian on Island Runner looks like he's going to overtake me now. He seems to got a really good pace on. He's definitely got at least a knot to a knot and a half on top of my boat speed now, and I don't know where he found it, but he's found it and he's shooting along. And I think he's followed by Austin and Mahalo with his spinnaker up there trying to catch him up. So we'll all be getting at, especially me, in a very short period of time, I should imagine. Should I be getting my spinnaker out? Well, maybe if I wasn't on my own I might, but I can't be bothered at the moment. I know I'll just get in a mess with it, so I'll just sit on what I've got. I mean, Island Runner hasn't got his spinnaker out, and he's well catching me now. I think he's just realised that his boom was too far in, and as he paid it out, the boat picked up a bit of pace. But I wasn't going to tell him, not during the race. I might have told him afterwards. I was very surprised to find that Swallow was paired to that 32-foot boat as well. And he's got 3 sails. He's definitely going to be quicker. And while I'm worrying about Island Runner catching me up, No Dramas has disappeared round the top of the fish farm and is starting to make his way back down the other end of the course. I can feel the beaming smile on Brian's face from here. Just take a look at No Dramas in the distance there. He's gone right round the farm in front of me. See the yellow mark? He's gone right round that and he's going down the other way. And there I am, second boat passing me now, Island Runner. And the third one about to pass me coming up there. But I'm just about on the yellow boys here, so I'm going to turn to port, which will give me a little bit of an advantage. An Island Runner here just hasn't given himself enough room to get round my bow, and I need this water, so I think I've just pushed my way back in front on the corner, which is pretty good, isn't it? I'm just about hanging on to second place by the skin of my teeth here, and it's only because Brian's a novice sailor that he's not sure what to do with that flogging Genoa at the moment. But I'm quite sure when he works it out and copies whatever boats are around him that he's going to take off and fly past me anyway. Well, everybody's now starting to round the top mark here, and I'm starting to realise the wind's not going to be very favourable for me when I pass the next mark here. I'm going to be turning into the wind, and as we turn into the wind, the other boats just pull their sheets in and start flying. Well, I've pulled my sheets in, but I haven't started flying. Me not being a windward boat and all. Well, they're all going to upwind me, let alone anything else, because I can feel myself slipping a little bit now. The wind's a little bit more because we're running into it, and I've got a little bit of speed, but nothing compared with what the big boys have got. So I'll slip off quietly on my own, into my own leeway, and disappear, while everybody else will just pass me. On the windward side, of course, to pinch whatever wind I've actually got. This is Austin on Mahalo. He had 11 minutes to catch me up. That's what he started behind me, 11 minutes, and he's caught those 11 minutes. I'm sure the rest of the boats now have all got their eyes set on the finish line, and maybe even attack towards the finish line. Now I won't be able to hold on to it. I can feel Swallow slipping a little bit now, and this is as close as I can go to the wind. And well, I think these guys are trying to give me a bit more wind, just in case you missed it. Very thoughtful of them, I'm sure. Still and all, even with my little bit of extra wind I was given there, I still seem to be making a little bit more leeway than everybody else, and I've realised that I'm going to be tacking later on. I'll definitely feel like just making up numbers now, as most of the boats who've slipped past now have slipped past with such ease. I know I'm quite small as in comparison, but the Ferrari that we seen at the beginning, the Seal, no dramas, she's the same size as me, and she's flown it. Well, I suppose all I have to actually do is get across the finish line, and I've got myself in the position where I was expected to be, which will make me happy to finish anyway. I've still got about half a dozen boats to pass me though, so I think Arthur, no dramas, is now finished, so we're looking at whoever's going to be second place. This is me, sailing to windward, nice and comfortable. The boat feels like it's going alright for Swallow, considering the airs are quite light as well, and I'm happy with the way she's performing. But she's not staying anywhere near the racing boats. In fact, over the last half hour or so, the wind has pushed me so far to the side that the other boats have got a hell of a distance upwind on me now, and will make a big difference when it comes to tacking. We've got 12 knots apparent, and I'm doing just over 4 to 4.5 through the water, which is, I think, is quite decent for Swallow. I don't think I feel like I'm racing anymore. I feel like I'm just out having a little bit of a cruise. This is the best I'm going to rope for anyway. It's the closest I'm going to get to a groove today, and I'm sheeted in as tight as I want to be. My actual bottom of my genoa is touching the shroud, and I can't really get much closer than that without reducing the amount of genoa I've got out and tucking it inside the shroud. But I'll lose so much shape out the foresail, it won't actually be worth doing. So I don't think I'm going to alter anything. I think I'm just going to sit on it and see where I get to. You never know your luck. I do think most of the other boats have got in between half a knot and a knot and a half faster than me, depending on which boats there is. But they've all got a better line to windward than me, so I think I've got the most leeway out of a lot of them. But I've probably got the shortest keel and the most windage, so that probably fits as well. It's starting to look like I'm not even in the same race as everybody else. They're all way to port of me. And I can't even think at this point in time that any tactical play will help me out at all, because I wouldn't know how to use it for best. I am thinking though, if I'd have turned to port immediately from the mills, I might have stayed where there was a bit more wind, and I might have done a little bit better that way. But here you go, the tacking for me has now started. I've gone from my long port tack now to my first starboard tack, and I'm heading towards everybody again, and I've noticed there's a couple of them out there who are actually having a little tack themselves, so some of the other guys don't think they're going to make it in one. Oh, and I think I need to apologise now about how rough the camera work is during this. And to tell you why the camera work's so rough is I've got a camera in one hand, I've got the tiller under my foot, and I've got a sheet in my other hand. And I just find it difficult to do all three things in one go, and you end up with a wiggly woggly picture. Well, as you can see, my tacking's brought me back into a bit of the pack where there's still a few other boats knocking round, but they're still getting past me one by one. And there's Mayor, Bob. He's what I think my competition is, because he's got the closest thing to a Motorsailer, although his is a proper sailing boat, just with a little bit of a windscreen banged on the top of it. But he has got more windage than most. But clearly his keel grips beautifully. He's sailed that in one tack all the way, and now he's just sailed right across my bow, which puts him ahead of me. I'm quite sure Bob will be pleased with that, because I do think he feels the same as me, as there's me and him in our little race together, and I get a wave as he passes me as well. Right, I'm going to put a tack in and follow him down, and I have. And no sooner as I've put the tack in than I've got a little bit more leeway, and I can't hang on to it, so I'm going to have to stick another tack in. And I don't think I can squeeze my sails any closer either. I probably could if I put my sheet inside, but I'd have to reduce the quantity that I've got out, and that's not going to help it at all. Well, both of us are tacking now, and that gives me a little bit of a fighting chance. but I think Bob's boat's clearly going to out-tack Swallow. And just when you think it couldn't get any worse, Brian's slowly creeping past me on Island Runner, who we were paired at the start with. So really, we definitely should go through the finish line together if I'm going to have a fair finish as the last boat. If we were joint starters as the slow boats, we should be joint finishers at the end as the slow boats. But he's not going to wait for me, is he? Well, I'm about 5 tacks in now, and we've passed the fairway boy, and the other 2 boys are just ahead of us, the finish line boys. But getting to them, there's the green there, and the red's just to port of the screen, and it's really hard to get past the finish line because the water's creeping out now. The wind's gone really light, and I'm tacking into the wind and into the water, and that is hard work for Swallow. And you can see there's other people fighting to get across that line as well. Every time I turn around and do another tack, I feel like I've just got in front of somebody. Bob's quite a distance off there, and he was miles ahead of me just before. But look, you never know who's going to win or who's going to lose or who's going to come in what position. You keep jostling around. I'm not sure where the favourable tack is, but let's stick another one in and find out. And this is the first time I've spotted Helgi Wen on this particular run. He's had a tack straight up from the bottom and heading straight towards the finish line. Hasn't he done well? Well, I put my next tack in, and who's just about to pass me bows all over again? It's Bob again. This is a bit of deja vu now. We're out tacking each other in different ways, and it looks like I've got one up on Brian now as well. Well, I can't believe my luck. Bob's disappeared through the line, but I'm still upwind of Island Runner and Utopia, I think. And I'm going to put my final tack in to get across that line. Now, I think I've left myself enough room because you can see the red there, so that means I can slip down towards the green as she goes. I can see other boats trying to tack to get towards me, but they've got a long distance to actually get here. And I can see now I'm going to make it clearly on this tack. In fact, I've probably put in too much spare line because the green is all the way down there. So I'm well going to make this. The red's there and I can slip as much as I want, but I'm going across this line on this tack. So that's going to give me a position with 2 boats behind me. 13-16 is going to be very happy for me crossing this line. Oh, I am enjoying that, knowing that there's 2 boats behind me. That means I am not coming in last. Well, you've seen it all here first. A Motorsailer's beaten 2 yachts. That's pretty good going, and the evidence is just behind me in the form of 2 boats which have still got to pass this line. And there they be. Although one of them is a novice and the other one could be a novice, I don't know. Well, I've got a Motorsail in now, as quick as I can do. So she's doing everything she possibly can through the water. It's still a spring and the tide will be ripping out of Conway River, and I've got to pick up my boy. So, get there as soon as possible and get it done. Well, no sooner said than done. Back on my boy, dinghy on the back. River's still ebbing quite quickly. There's a few knots in it. 2.5 about I was doing when I was stemming next to it. So that's it. A lovely day back in Conway. And a lovely day's racing all taken care of. Now all we need to know is the results. Ta-da!
So I'm sure you're all wondering where you came. So it was a great turnout. 14 boats took part and 14 boats finished. You know, which, considering the light conditions, was a really good achievement. C1 was a little bit more complicated than I was anticipating. I thought it'd be an easier course than it actually was. But there we go. Every race needs a little bit of a challenge, doesn't it? So I'll give you the results. I think I'll do it in reverse order. So starting from the bottom in 14th position. I don't think they're here tonight. Utopia. Oh. Right. Then we have Island Runner. Swallow. Yeah. And then Maya. Well done, Bob. LDN. Split decision. Then Breezer. Yeah. Diego. Is Nigel here tonight? No. So Diego was next. Then our Commodore Mahalo, and then myself, free will. And then we're getting towards the podium now, so in fourth position, Mayru, Roger. And in third position, one of our old members, Colin and Deborah, Diva. And in second position, the first club boat home, Grand Slam. Beaten by a CYC boat, no dramas. No dramas. He just let it slip. 6.7 knots, did you say you were doing? 6.7 knots. The rest of us struggling to do like 4 or 5. That's what I said, yeah. But what an achievement. Hell of an achievement to manage that. Well done, Arthur.
Yeah. Okay, everyone, until next time, bon voyage.